Mayan's house. You were standing in front of your full length mirror. It was pastel dress, blue, flowing softly around your knees but cinched at the waist just enough to highlight your delicate figure. You took the zipper with a small struggle, biting your bottom lip in frustration. Oh, why it always gets stuck? You groaned annoyingly. Just then your mobile phone buzzed on the bed, lighting up with a familiar name. You turned while letting out an exhausted sigh. You reached to the bed and picked up the phone, breast slightly hitched from the sudden motion. It was your elder sister Arya, who had gotten married 6 months ago into one of the most powerful and mysterious families in Seoul, the Jeon household. She now lived in a massive mansion nestled on the outskirts of the city, a place you had only visited once after her marriage and never wanted to return to, as everything there was so dark, mysterious, just like the mansion itself. And above that, everything was disciplined, and in your dictionary, the word discipline doesn't exist. Throwing yourself on the bed, you answered the call. Uni! You said casually, resting your head on the pillow. A warm, cheerful voice responded. Yeah, Vayanshi, how are you? I miss you so much here. Why don't you visit us? Your summer holidays are going on, and we will have great fun at my place. You smiled faintly. I am fine, Uni, here in my home. I am having the best summer holidays of my life. I live alone, no one there to disturb me. I watch TV all day and just lay on my bed with a slice of pizza. Isn't it enjoyable? She giggled over the phone, but her tone quickly turned soft and emotional as she remembered that she had to convince you to come to her in the mansion. Chia, after mom and dad, you are all I have ever left. Can't you just come and stay with me for a while? I miss you. The house feels so empty. It's been so long I have not seen you. You paused. A flicker of guilt passed through your eyes, but you masked it with a sigh. Sitting up slightly, you glanced at yourself in the mirror. Before you could reply, your eyes fell on which were almost. Mayan, are you listening to me? You let out a sigh and spoke. Fine, I will come, but only for a week. She squealed with joy. Just before she could say anything else, you cut her off with a serious tone. But listen, if you send your brother in law to pick me up, I won't come. Remember that. There was a long pause on the other end, you knew why. Her brother in law Jungkook was infamous, not just in your sister's house, but all of Seoul. He was the youngest son of the Jun family, rich, cold, intimidating, and terrifying. Rumors followed him like shadows. Though you had never met him, but still you were scared because of those rumors. He couldn't make you up to your sister's wedding just because he was in Italy. And now it's been 2 months he had returned back to Seoul. Arya let out an exaggerated sigh and muttered, Why do you say like this? He's not a bad person. He is just. She was speaking out, but you cut her off. Oh, Uni, please, just don't send him. If you did, I won't come. And trust me, I mean it. You said. What you didn't know was that your sister was already smirking on the other end. She was not just calling you to visit, she had a plan. A deep rooted plan in her heart ever since the day she married into the June family. She wanted you to marry Jungkook so the two sisters could stay together. She also believed that you could were the one who could soften Jungkook's cold heart. She placed her mobile phone on the table and walked silently up the spiral staircase past the grand chandelier and the cold marble hallways. She stopped at a heavy wooden door at the very end of the hallway. It was painted black with golden borders and, more importantly, locked from inside. This was Jungkook's private room. No one was allowed to enter without permission. She knocked gently, and then seconds later, the sound of a lock turning echoed through the corridor. The door creaked open, revealing a dark with almost no lighting. Only the dim glow from his computer screen illuminated his sharp jawline and tattooed neck. What is it, Nuna? His voice was deep, calm, and slightly disinterested. She stepped in carefully. Actually, Jungkook, I wanted to ask you something. He turned his chair around slowly, revealing more of his sculpted face, black hair falling lazily over his eyes. You know you're opalite for Italy for a week like this morning. I was wondering if you don't mind, could you go pick up my little sister tomorrow? She's coming to stay for a while. Jungkook stared at her for a long second, unmoving. She added quickly, trying to hide her excitement. I know you don't like getting involved with family stuff, but still, it's a request. Fine, I will go. Her eyes lit up, but she hid her grin, only bowing politely. Ah, thank you, Jungkook. He nodded his head slightly. The clinking sound of your braces echoed softly as you zipped your suitcase shut, tossing the last few pieces of clothing in with a casual flick of your wrist. You didn't care. After all, your sister had just messaged you. Driver will be there in 2 hours. Be ready. Bye. See ya. Oh, Queenie, why you want me to come? You said, flopping onto the bed for a moment, one hand resting lazily on your stomach. You bit your lower lip and let out a yawn. Ook, I need coffee and pizza. You muttered, and ordering the pizza, you tossed your mobile phone on the bed. You then got up, tying your hair into a messy bun. You walked into your tiny kitchen, the floor cool under your bare feet. You placed your matcha powder, oat milk, and sugar on the counter like a ritual and began whisking your drink. The aroma of sweet matcha filled the air, and you let out a small, satisfied smile. But just as you were about to fresh out the cup from the drawer, the doorbell rings. You flinched. Oh, I think the pizza is here. You whispered to yourself excitedly, walking towards the door with your phone and wallet. You opened the door to find a young delivery guy in a red cap holding your pizza box. He gave a polite bow at first, but then his eyes lingered too long. They dragged across your face. You stiffened instinctively. Glaring at him, you snatched the pizza box from him. Your face was tightening. Here, you said sharply, handing him some money, and shut the door before he could utter. You muttered under your breath, locking the door behind you, your mood now slightly ruined. You leaned against the wall. Shaking your head, you carried your pizza and matcha drink upstairs to your bedroom, determined to distract yourself. You flopped onto the bed again, picked up the remote, and let the turn on all your favorite time K drama. What is your favorite K drama? Do let me know in comments. Mine is True Beauty. 2 hours passed like a breeze. The afternoon sun had mellowed into a golden dusk as you stood in front of the mirror brushing your hair. You decided to take a quick shower before heading out. You padded towards the bathroom. The water ran as you stood under the stream, letting it calm your nerves. You looked at yourself in the mirror. Your eyes fell on your pink lips, and it reminded you of that fateful night a week ago. You bit them and closed your eyes. Memories flashed back in your mind. Meanwhile, outside your house, a sleek black car pulled up silently in front of your house. The windows were tinted too dark to see inside. The man behind the wheel turned the engine off and stepped out. He was Jungkook, wearing a simple black tee and ripped jeans with leather boots. He was looking casual, but his presence was dark. His eyes were sharp, narrowed slightly as he looked up at your building. He let out a sigh. Uni sent me the picture. Let's check once more. He pulled out his mobile phone from the pocket and checked the address. It showed same. He walked up to your door and knocked once, twice, and thrice, but no answer. He let out a groan and knocked again, louder this time, but the host remained silent. He gritted his teeth slightly and looked around. The neighborhood was empty. A soft breeze rustled the leaves, but otherwise everything was still. Jungkook let out an exaggerated sigh. I think I need to use it. He reached into his black back pocket and pulled out a small tool with swift practice fingers. He picked the lock within seconds and pushed the door open. Click, he smirked and stepped inside. The house was dim, only fadlight trickling in front of the mirror windows. It smelled like matcha and pizza and something else like warmth, comfort. Something Jungkook had not longer forgotten. His eyes scanned the space. The light from upstairs glowed faintly under the hallway walls. He sighed again, his voice slow, almost bored. With slow, heavy steps, he walked up the stairs, his boots echoing in the silent house. Just then, you stepped out of the bathroom. Your hair was damp. You were humming softly. You grabbed the glass of water and started to drink water, but just then your eyes fell on the figure leaning against the door frame. A tall, dark figure stood in the middle of your room. You froze, eyes wide, your breath hitched in your throat. Jungkook was standing right in front of you. You were so shocked that water from your mouth popped out and fell directly on him. He groaned, but his eyes still remained fixed on you. You stuttered, the color of your face went fade. Flashback a week ago, Seoul nightclub. Your best friend had dragged you. It had been a hard week, and she said that you needed to feel alive again. You wore a simple black dress, not too flashy but enough to fit in the crowd. The music thumped, lights pulsed over the crowd like a storm. You had just taken your second mocktail. Your heart pounded not from excitement but from fear. You walked over to your friend. Your eyes became watery. You were not alone, but you felt alone. You looked around, scanning desperately. There you saw Jungkook. He was standing alone and leaning against the bar counter. His eyes were dark and calculating. You didn't know who he was then. You didn't know he was there for his deal. You just knew he looked safe. He was alone. There was no girl roaming around him. Without thinking, you rushed forward. Before he could look at you clearly or say something like, "What were you doing?" or something like that, you looked at him with a smile. His men froze scattered in different areas of bar froze. So did he. His eyes widened, but he didn't pull away. He stared at your innocent face. You gulped. I was searching for you around. Where were you? You stammered out, hoping the boys would get the hint that he was your boyfriend. Instead of replying back, Jungkook smirked. I was here all the time, staring at you. He whispered, your eyes widened. Ah, I missed you so much, he whispered. You flinched at his sudden answer. You had not expected that. Since that day, you had been dreaming of him. It was awkward, but you had gotten into a disease. That is called love. At present, you guessed softly, your cheeks turning red. He tilted his head slowly, water still dripping down his jaw. Don't tell me you are Yuni's sister. You blinked. And you are her brother in law? The two of you stared at each other in mutual disbelief. A heavy silence followed. I searched for you around, but never thought would you meet this way. You took a step back. I didn't know you were her brother in law, he murmured, taking a step forward. Do you remember? You kept looking into his dark eyes. I do. Should I remind you again? He whispered. You let out a cry. Suddenly your phone buzzed, but neither of you noticed. It vibrated under your pillow, lost in the waves of. Accidentally, your hand knocked against it, and the call connected. It was Arya, who had been waiting for your update, wondering if Jungkook had reached. Placing her coffee cup on the table, she heard your voice through the speaker and got stunned. Wait, what was that? She whispered to herself. Then she heard it again, but this time it was Jungkook. Her mouth fell open. She leaned closer to the phone again, pressing it to her ear. Disbelief was written across her face. No way. Her face flushed red from sheer shock. She collapsed onto the couch, pressing a pillow over her face.